in academic and corporate research and development, and served as a research and scientist at various prestigious institutes worldwide. And Rajiv Gandhi Center for Biotechnology, Trivandrum. During her academic years, she has completed 14 major and mini projects, of which 4 core, fundamental, and premier institution in India. Madam is actually involved in research out of the warriors, soldiers, and their families of defense force of India with her team Desh, with the measure of serving those who serve us and the nation. Madam was also gifted the bronze medallion and also awarded by Dr. Kiran Bedi IPS Indian Inspiration Woman honored. She's get so many awards. Indian Inspiration Woman Award 2021 for her writing, Blue Star Award 2021 for Best Debut Author, Indian Nobel Award 2021, World Record holder for publishing and book with 1,100 poetries from Tamil poet across the world. Best Woman Scientist Award and received many awards. Thank you, ma'am, and welcome you this session.
Ma'am, now I welcome our president, sir, to deliver that. Welcome.
Distinguished guests on the dais, I welcome on all your behalf and the delegates, Madam Ganapriya, and distinguished scientists. And she has been a source of inspiration and motivation for all you are. And she is a near perfectionist in everything she does. And she has been attaining very great strides in many faceted areas from biotechnology to poetry to laboratory skills, everything. So she is a role model that you can all be to top up with. And I have great pleasure in inviting her to address you all. And please listen to her words and also get inspiration from her words. And please try to interact with her as well. Thank you. I welcome you again, Madam Ganapriya. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
On behalf of our college, we welcome you, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Shall I share my screen for the presentation?
Yes, ma'am, you can share your content.
Okay. So, a very good morning, everyone. Many thanks. I'm so grateful for Dr. Jagannathan sir to give me this opportunity and to introduce me to the youngsters who will be the tomorrow's pillars for the country. I hope I am audible and my presentation is also visible. So for the next 60-70 minutes, I'll be talking more about women empowerment and why education is more important for a woman in her whole life span. So just give me a second to join. Yeah. So thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful introduction about me. So as introduced by your madam, I am Ganapriya Mohan Yogesh, and I currently work as an associate scientist with a company called Syngene International Limited at Bangalore. So I take care of the laboratory operations division here. And to my credits, I have a few degree behind my name, thanks to my mentors and my parents who supported me to take care of my educational activities. So this will be the agenda of the session for the next few minutes. So I will be talking about why empowerment is so important. Why do we have to be emancipated from the routine activities that has been followed in the earlier times, and how do women feel empowered? Who were the pioneers in the women empowerment session, and how has the women empowerment activity been come across in all these years, and what is the main key factor for women empowerment? If I call the main key factor as education, then why do women need education? And what is the stage of educated women in the society? So these are the topics that we will be discussing overall today.
Recording in progress.
So I hope I'm audible now. Yeah. So to introduce the session, we have a clear vision. Why? What is empowerment? Empowerment is when you have a clear vision to know what you're doing, and to remove the obstacles in your path of your journey. Like, say for example, if you want to reach great heights, what are the challenges that you face, how to overcome those challenges, what are the support that you require to throw off the obstacles and reach your goal. So this is what is needed for every woman here, and we need a clear vision on where we have to reach. And earlier, you know that the toils of women in the yesteryears were innumerable. We have been Women were treated as mere housemakers, or the even the famous Adolf Hitler has called women as child rearing machine and nothing more than that. But we have evolved, women has evolved a long way from that point till now. They are We are not expected to be housebound, but in some parts of the country there are a lot of evil things happening against women, because the empowerment of women is not achieved 100%. Some of the evil things that you can come across is child marriage, female infanticide, women trafficking, women harassment. These things are still happening at one point or the other point in the world. So to question this, you must feel empowered, you must feel strong from inside to break through these bad things that is happening to women. So what do I mean by empowerment? Empowerment is a process or the strategy or the efforts that is put forth by women to liberate themselves from the control of different other sources or any other traditional power structures in the patriarchal society, so that women has secured the equal rights. You remove the gender discrimination from the laws, from the institutions, in different sets of behavioral patterns, breaking the stereotypes, and you set a standard to promote a complete equality. That is what is the entire process of empowerment is all about. So in general, when we talk about women empowerment, it refers to the overall empowerment, the overall upliftment of women, which includes the spiritual upliftment, the political, the social, educational, gender, economic strength in the communities of women should be uplifted holistically. That is what we target at. And being a woman myself, I would also recommend all of you to equip yourself with the strong education that has been provided with you, because all of you are gifted with the boon to come to college, take your education in a serious way, and all that, which many other women in the society are deprived of. So when I go back to a bit of history, we had, as I told you in the beginning, we had a lot of evil factors against women. One of it is sati, child marriage, female genocide, female infanticide, female harassment. So much of things were happening at every point of time. We had some of the key persons who revolutionized against the evil practices. Hello. Who revolutionized against the evil practices, and they initiated the emancipation of women from the clutches of society. So one of the most important revolutionary person is Dr. Rajaram Mohan Roy, who is fondly remembered as the maker of modern India. So he was the first one to start Brahmo Samaj, which campaigned for women rights, in particular women rights to gain property transferred from their parents, or women's right to education. And he was the first person who raised his voice against polygamy and sati. However, after long struggles, only sati was legally abolished in India. And we have one more person, Ishwar Chandra Vidyashagar, who made sure that remarriage of Hindu widows can be happening, so that a woman needs a marriage just because something untold has happened, that is not the end of the life of women. And he also opened a number of schools for girls education in Bengal. And because of these people's hard work in the society, we are reaping the fruits in the current days. We have Pandit Ramabai, who was one of the few female leaders of women emancipation. She brought into light the plight of child brides, like child marriages and child widows. She also was the first feminist in India who found one of the first feminist organization, the Arya Mahila Sabha. And till date, the AMS is working towards its specific cause. We have Sarla Devi Chowdhury, who formed the Bharat Shri Mandal, the older version of the women self-help club, and she would always be remembered for her speeches that favored women to give the right to vote. She was not only involved in petitioning the government to give the women the right to vote, but she also brought in a lot of changes in the laws which talked about women divorced marriages and the property rights. And some of our favorite members like Swami Vivekananda, Jyotirao Phule, and Syed Amir Khan, Ahmed Khan. So these people had been constantly throughout their lifetime. They had constantly laid stress to remove the unwanted or unnecessary religious superstitious beliefs, subscriptions, and any social customs that targeted women, or that disrespected or degraded women in the society. And when we come from such a rich background, where we have a lot of key actors who play important role in empowering women, we should also feel the onus that, okay, the responsibility is on us also to take up the sword and pick up to pick up the sword and lead the fight from the front. And one of the very most important thing that I would, in my personal experience, I would say are two things that will help you to take the lead and become a leader. First and foremost thing that I would suggest is get educated in a very sincere way. The second thing that I would say is, please be grateful of the organization that is educating you. Please be grateful of the institution, the educational institution, your alma mater when you pass out of the college or when you pass out of the school. Please give back something to the educational institution that has brought you up. So when you have these two qualities in your setup, it will be nobody can stop you from growing. That is my experience so far. So when we talk about the different levels of women empowerment, we have classified it in five different levels. So the first level will be giving them the proper welfare. So improving their socio-economic statuses by giving them proper nutrition, shelter, getting them make work, and having a proper constant income. And second level of empowerment comes from gaining access to resources such as land, labor, or finance, and many more. The third level uh, women empowerment comes from the conscientization, where not one person grows, not one woman grows up. She encompasses, she inspires a group of women and collectively make them act towards growing better and believe gender equality is always possible. And once a group of women is acting towards empowerment, they mobilize their thought processes, they channelize the thought processes, and this leads to a larger movement of linking women across different geographical locations. That will come as the fourth level of the women empowerment. And in the final level, the women believe strongly that equality is there in any decision making, and without any benefits of doubt or dominance, both the gender can equally take part in decision making or taking control over a situation in a sensible way. This is how the women empowerment levels we are looking at. So just because feminism has become a very fancy word these days, however the actual feminism or actual women empowerment that we talk has certain principles. It's not that women is superior and men are inferior, or men are superior and women is inferior. That is not what feminism or masculinism is all about. It is just about treating both the genders equally in a fairer perspective. That is what forms the core of feminism, that I would say. So when we talk about the principles, so what are we aiming at? Even at high level corporate leadership, we are aiming at gender equalities, and we are aiming at treating all the human beings fairly at work, respect them and support their human rights. We ensure the health and safety and well-being of all the human being, not specifically women per se. So when we talk about women empowerment, it encompasses both men and women, because women forms the backbone of any society for that matter. So it is an inclusive society is what we aim at by being an empowered woman. So we ensure that we implement entrepreneurial development, supply chains, and in all areas, both men and women are taken part, and promote equality through community initiatives. We also measure and publicly report on the progress. So these are the principles that we are looking at when we talk about emancipated women. It's not about only uplifting girl or women. We also ensure that the whole society is uplifted. So the stages of women empowerment are five. We start being, the power of the powerless is what one of the common stages statements that is made right from Bangladesh's President Aung San Suu Kyi. So right from there, the women were addressed as powerless. But slowly, when we started showing the power of the powerless, the emancipation happened. Like, from being powerless, we have initiated the change, and we force ourselves to participate in the change that is happening around us, and slowly we learn to adapt to the positive changes that is happening, and we gain the leadership. And that is how a woman is liberated from the clutches of evil things that is happening in the society. But why do we need empowered women? Why do we need strong women in the society? We say westernization, we say globalization, we say that law improved, this has improved, we have women has equal rights and all that. But still, at one part or the other part of the country or the society or the world, women are generally deprived of decision making powers. Women are generally deprived of the freedom to move from one place to other. They're deprived of education, employment, or given domestic violences, dowry systems. We hear at least a couple of newses every day related to these violences that is happening against women. So to get rid of these violences, it is very important that we empower ourselves, because remember, no one can help you without your consent. So you should be first strong enough to help others, or to even seek help. You should be strong enough. That is why we look for empowered women's. So the recent happenings across the globe, or to be in particular a country called Afghanistan that most of you would have come across, the amount of toil that the women underwent in the 20th century or in the new millennial era is something that makes us think, are we at least 500, 600 years before? So a lot of social imposements are there, restrictions are there for women ability, mobility, and to expose the women. So my personal thought and the accredited thought across the globe is education is the most potential instrument for liberating women from any sort of mishappenings. That is why we believe empowerment of women through education. It opens up a variety of opportunity and choices for you. So once you are educated, you will know what is right, you will know what is wrong, which way to lead, which way to not choose. So you have a lot of opportunities in front. You are aware of what is happening ahead, you're aware of what is happening around you, and you will be able to take the right decision in the right way at the right time in the right manner. So to make things right, get educated. Get educated sincerely. That is what I would say. So when all of us are given the proper education, we will be able to support not only ourselves, we'll be able to support the society and environment at large. And we will be able to be recognized at home and in society at large. Like if a woman is educated, not only the woman is educated, she can educate her family, she will be able to pass on the education to the society, she can take care of the society in a positive way, she can take care of the environment in a positive way, she will be able to reduce the waste or handle waste management or uh, keep the environment in a safer way. So, what does actually education bring in? What change does education bring in, or what changes education supposed to bring in? The first and foremost, it makes you powerful. It gives you the confidence that okay, I can do it. I will be able to face this. That confidence it gives you. It promotes tolerance in people, so you can tolerate and trust or underpin the democratic acts that is happening around. You can motivate your fellow human being to reach greatness, and you can also make sure that if nothing is going right, you can step in to be the change maker. So it gives you that confidence, it helps you to promote tolerance, and most importantly, you will be a person who can work for yourself, who can be financially independent. When you're educated, it improves your job opportunities inside the society and outside the country as well. So you will be well placed in the society, you will be financially independent. Giving having a financial independence gives you that sense of responsibility and power that nothing else can get for. So, educating women can also help solve environmental problems. Am I hearing something?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear, ma'am.
Okay. So, educating women can also solve the environmental problems that we are facing. Like, you know, uneducated women may not be knowing what impact a climate change can bring about. Whereas an educated and strongly, a woman with strong scientific background can tell you about what climatic changes, what can we do in our day-to-day activities to reduce the climatic impact, to reduce the pollutions that we do. We can also we can also understand why water resource is important, why it is important to reduce, reuse and recycle. So an educated woman can think in a sustainable way to give sustainable solutions which can solve a lot of our environmental problems. So, an educated woman can also bring a revolution in the society. If something is going wrong, the educated women can have the confidence and power to uh, point out which is wrong and can set things right. This brings a social revolution, and women are the key source of life according to all the biological factors that is being put. So when a woman is educated, she can very well be aware of the childbirth processes and how a expected mother or a delivered a new mother can take care of the child and herself in a better way. So many women, there are a lot of cases where we still see child death, stillbirth, death during pregnancy. So much of things happen because the people are not aware of the actual happenings, the pros and cons, and they are not aware of the hygienic practices, or they are not aware that they'll have to go to a doctor and get checked up properly. So many things are kept in darkness for uneducated women in a rural society. But comparatively, a woman from educated society will be aware of the processes, what should be done in case of this, which is most important, what are the checkups that I have to undergo, what are the scientific things that I have to look at. So when educated women is clear of these thoughts, this can prevent the unnecessary losses of life. And education can fight hunger, because the three most important thing for a human being is food, shelter, and clothing. So when a woman is educated and when she has a good job opportunity, she can fight the hunger. She can make sure that malnutrition is something that is not happening to the society that she live in, and it can be preventable. The malnutrition or the consequences of having malnutrition can be prevented, and it ensures that we live in healthy society. So it's all a vicious cycle that that connects one with the other. It's a continuous cycle. So one process triggers the happening of all the other nine processes that is in place. So we also have a statistics that says that if a woman is educated in all the countries, like all the women in a country is educated and given a primary education, the child loss, the infant loss, or the stillbirth can drop 1/6. That is a huge statistics that I would say. Educated women can prevent the losses of life, and that important is education. That is the wonder that education can, the right education can do. When a right education can do so many things, why is it important for a woman to be a literate? She can be powerful enough to reduce the domestic and the sexual violences on her. She can also be a part of the decision making processes while in political agendas. And a repetitive is a healthy society can be made sure. The population explosion can be kept in check. Infant mortality or the losses of lives can be, maternal mortality can be taken care when educated women is there in the society. Educated woman can promote the socio-economic growth as well, and it can reduce child marriages also. So same importance of girl education. One, when you educate a woman, you do not only educate her, you educate the whole family and the society. So educated women can educate the future generation as well. So women who are educated can help and contribute and prosper their community. When women who are educated can actually be better equipped to contribute to the family income as well. Women who are educated are less likely to become victims of domestic or sexual abuses. They are less likely to be taken advantage of. They're less likely to be actually uh, undergoing any unwanted or depressive processes. Educated women can influence their future. Not only that, they can also influence and inspire the fellow human being in the society. Educated women can actually reduce poverty and reduce the risk of child mortality. They can also take care of their family in a more scientific, in a better way, by for example, by taking care of the child's immunization records. They will be aware that, okay, my child is at this stage, he or she needs this kind of immunization. At this stage, she needs this level of immunization for a healthy lifestyle. So these all perks come only when a woman is rightly educated and the woman takes up education sincerely. So with that, I've told what can happen when a woman is educated. So anything and everything, when we don't say it with example, it loses, the interest or the catch is lost. So in the next few slides, I will be showing you few powerful women who have brought changes or who have brought laurels to the country through their proper education. You may be knowing most of them, you may be knowing some of them, but Let us see. So the changes seen in emancipated or empowered women, she has a self-defining power. She has a proper disciplined life. She has a lot of knowledge about what she does and what is happening around her. Uh, uh, an empowered or educated woman has that authenticity to take decisions in the right time, in the right way. She can also tap her creativity. She has a proper physical strength to face the strife outside. She gives mutuality in the relationships. She has the financial independence or the economic independence, and she can also play an important role in the political scenarios. And she's freed from the oppressed society. So these are the changes that you see when a woman is empowered or with proper education. So there is this book that I would suggest. This is one of my most favorite books that I would call. So, Leelavati's Daughters. This book talks about the women scientists of India, which dates back from the stages of Aryabhatta and when science was started in India. So it contains a brief biographical or autobiographical sketches of at least 100 women scientists from India whose disciplines include various subjects like science, maths, technology, so on and so forth. So, like this book is always like what I would say an inspirational book that I always hold on to, and I would also suggest all of you to pick up this book and read about the different achievements that a woman can do, and especially in country like India where we are still in the developing phase, we have had women who had set path. Okay, I can achieve this. A woman can achieve this. To start with, to start with so as I said, I will be sharing some examples of women who have made a space in the history of India or in the world. So Sarojini Naidu, she is the first woman officer to hold the office of governor in the Dominion of India. She is a prolific poet, and she has released so much of poetry collections. Anandi is the first Indian female to study MBBS or a Western medicine in the United States, and she was one of the first physicians in the country. And once she returned from the US, and this is centuries beyond. This is at least in the early 18th centuries. So once she returned from the US, she was the first female doctor appointed in the Kolhapur state to take care of a hospital. So in those days when women did not have so much of opportunities, when these people can achieve more, why not us? And we have our beloved Dr. Swamya Swaminathan here, daughter of Mr. Dr. M.S. Swaminathan sir, who is the first woman to take up, who's Deputy Director General. She's a pediatrician, and she has worked mostly on tuberculosis and HIV, and she has about more than 30 years of experience. And yeah, she holds the powerful position in the World Health Organization as of now. Lakshmi Sengal, my personal favorite. Captain Lakshmi or Dr. Lakshmi finished her MBBS from Madras Medical College in 1938, and she was one of the first Indian women soldiers who was recruited in Indian National Army by Subhash Chandra Bose under Rani of Jhansi Regiment. And she was pioneer in nowadays we see a lot of women entering the Indian Defence Forces, and she is one of the pioneers in the defense services. So Dr. Lakshmi Swaminathan, she became Captain Lakshmi, and that was her identity till the last breath of her life until date. Kalpana Chawla, Indian-born American astronaut, and there's no one who can say I don't know Kalpana Chawla. So she has a legacy, which she's the first Indian-born uh, American astronaut who went to first woman of Indian origin to go to space, and she flew her first mission in 1997. but her legacy that she has left behind inspires every single girl child that is born on the Indian soil and of course abroad. So coming from a very uh, middle class background and from a village somewhere in the state of Haryana, she has rose to this level, which is again purely because of her burning desire to achieve something through education. And Dr. Kiran Mazumdar Shah, the CMD of the company that I work in, she's a self-made woman who started like 50 years before. She was one of the first entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs. Before 50 years, she broke the stereotype wherein women are not involved in malting and brewing industry. She was one of the first women to break the stereotype and did her education and post-graduation diploma in malting and brewing industry, and she set up her own industry. And of course, Biocon and Syngene are one of the leading scientific research, contract scientific research organizations in worldwide. In Asia, it is one of the number one organizations. And we have Dr. Kiran Bedi IPS, who took up her undergrad in English, and she did a master's in political science with a PhD in social science. And she's the first woman to join the Indian Police Service, and the reformation that she has brought in at various stages in society is impeccable. uh, Dr. Tessie Thomas. She is the Director General of Aeronautical Systems, and she is fondly called as Missile Woman of India, like how we call our former President Dr. Abdul Kalam sir as Missile Man of India. She is fondly called as Missile Woman of India, and she was the first woman ever in India, the first woman scientist to head a missile project in India. She is honored with a lot of awards, including the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Developing Missile Technology in India. Asima Chatterjee, she's one of the first women to receive a PhD in science, and she's one of the most powerful women those days in West Bengal, coming from a state where women oppression or women emancipation was not that great. She has achieved something, and she has paved a way that even a woman can also pursue the PhD from PhD in the education and grow more than what has been expected. And she has been awarded with Padma Bhushan, the third highest civilian award. And apart from that, C.V. Raman Award, P.C. Ray Award, so on and so forth. She's an organic chemist, and her work in medicinal chemistry, mostly that talks about the traditional medicinal plants. The Vinca alkaloids for cancer research, anti-epileptic drugs, or like still we follow that, like just like how we follow one of our religious books. Her researchers are always our go-to spaces to find answers for any questions. And she's one of the highly published scientists, women scientists in those days. She has published more than 400 research papers in national and international journals. So, some statistics now. As of 2021, only 8.2% of the total population in the Fortune 500 companies, women hold only 8.2% of the leadership. But this is not enough, is what I would say. We should still grow, and there are totally 41 women running businesses on the Fortune 500 list, which is an all-time high. Yes, we have come a long way through. 35% of the management positions are held by women, and 53% of PhDs awarded in the USA as of 2021 is for women. So when women across different countries can achieve, why not we? And one of the good reforms that Indian government has done is women persons are also allowed to serve in the Indian Armed Forces, in various wings of Indian Armed Forces. So Indian Air Force has at least 13.9% of women serving as pilots, fighter pilots, and warriors. And Indian Navy has about 6% of women serving as at different officer cadres, and Indian Army has about 3.8 or 4% of women serving as soldiers or jawans or engineers for that matter. So, when we have evolved in different spaces from science, technology, mathematics, so on, in India, women have also evolved in the defense forces. We also have women holding higher. Sorry, we also have. I think there is some issue. Am I audible? I got some nodding.
Hello, hello, hello,
Hello.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello,
So I think
I
some.
can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, great. So can I
Actually, ma'am,
continue?
they have some electrical problem, ma'am, but I can hear you, ma'am. Yeah, yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
great, great. Okay. So to continue, like we have set a milestone. No other countries in the world have so much of women employed in the defense forces as well. So way back in 1992, we had women breaking the rule stereotype that only men are allowed in the defense forces. So in 1992, we had the first lady cadet joining Indian Army, the feisty Priya Jigan, and slowly we started having women holding up higher ranks in the defense forces. Like the first woman Lieutenant General of Indian Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Punita Arora ma'am, and she also rose up to the Vice Admiral of Indian Navy. We have Air Marshal Padmavati, the first woman Air Marshal, and these things have happened prior to 2000. Lieutenant Colonel Mithali, she's the first female officer to receive a gallantry award. And Sapper Shanti is the first female soldier who has actually gone into the front line to fight for the Indian Army. We have Flight Officer Gunjan Saxena, who flew an aircraft during the Kargil war in the combat zone. So it's not that nothing is possible. It is always that everything is possible and nothing is just impossible for a woman to achieve. And these people have set some path for you to travel. So I've shown a lot of examples that for the last in the last few slides I've shown a lot of examples where these people will be able to inspire you. They have set a path. All you'll have to do is get inspired, follow the path, achieve greatness in your life. And one of the most special projects of the Indian government, Tarini, the all Indian women crew who went for a world expedition for the first time in the world, is from India. We have in Project Tarini, we have about 7 officers, all are Indian women from the defense forces. So when they can, are you next in the list? Is my conclusion. With that, I conclude the session, and I always just a piece of information, as I say to all the youngsters, is that there are few things that you have to follow. Respect your gurus who teach you, who give you the enlightenment, who give you the knowledge, who give you the power of feeling educated. That is the first advice you can say, the suggestion you can say. That is something I always encourage everyone to follow. Respect your gurus, respect the educational institution that has provided you resources for you to get educated, and give back something to the society once you reach great heights. With that note, thank you, and the session is open for any interactions.
Hello, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank
Your
you.
presentation was really very informative, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Students, now the session is open for discussion. Can you please have
Ma'am, myself Divya. Ma'am, you said social. You said women education will bring a social revolution, ma'am.
Correct.
In what it will be, ma'am?
So I have some audio issue here. You mean to ask that women education will bring social revolution? In what way? Is that your question?
You audible, ma'am?
Yeah. So you are asking me a question that in what way women education brings in social reforms, correct? Social revolution or social reforms.
Social revolution, ma'am.
Yes, there are a lot of things. If you pick up the number of revolutions that has happened in recent past, every single woman who stood in front to lead it will be a woman, and that woman will be educated. For example, against dowry. For example, the recent cases in religious issues at Supreme Court. There was a woman, Dr. Indu Malhotra. She was the judge of the session, and she was able to bring about a change in the society. In every scenario, be it in the law front, be it in the entrepreneurial front, an educated woman can bring about changes, and she can set a new path for the others to follow.
Ma'am, next question, ma'am. Still now we are less number of women participate in political, ma'am. What we do, ma'am?
Do you mind typing your question in the chat box, please? I am unable to hear because probably because your video is on or some network issue. Hello? Hello?
Sure, ma'am. Hello. You can hear, ma'am?
Yes, I can hear you now.
மேம் இப்போ வந்து உமன்ஸ் வந்து பொலிட்டிக்கல்ஸ்ல இருக்காங்க மேம். ஆனா அவங்க வந்து ஒரு போஸ்டுக்காக மட்டுமா இருக்காங்க மேம். அதான் லீட் பண்றது வந்து ஒரு மேல் மேம். அது எப்படி மேம் அட்ஜஸ்ட் பண்றது?
அதை எப்படி மாத்துறதுன்னா அகேன் they have to take the responsibility. We have not still நம்ம வந்து அந்த 100% அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு எம்பவர்மெண்ட் வந்து நம்ம அச்சீவ் பண்ணல இப்ப வரைக்கும். We have still a long way to go is what I would say. நம்ம ஒரு லீடர் பொசிஷனுக்கு வரணும்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நமக்கு அந்த கான்ஃபிடன்ஸ் வேணும். நமக்கு அந்த கான்ஃபிடன்ஸ் வேணும்னா என்னால முடியுங்கிற நம்பிக்கை எனக்கு வேணும் அப்படின்னாக்கா எனக்கு விஷயம் தெரிஞ்சிருக்கு, எனக்கு ஒரு விஷயம் தெரிஞ்சிருந்தாதான் என்னால தைரியமா வந்து எனக்கு இது தெரியும், நான் இது செய்யறேன் அப்படின்னு கான்பிடென்டா சொல்ல முடியும். எனக்கு ஒரு விஷயம் தெரியணும் அப்படின்னா அதை பத்தின ஒரு ப்ராப்பர் எஜுகேஷன் எனக்கு இருக்கணும். So it all boils down to one point where you are thoroughly having a knowledge of how to lead and what will be the obstacles that comes in front of you. அதை எப்படி டேக்கிள் பண்ணுங்கிற தரோ நாலேஜ் இருந்தாதான் உங்களால வந்து ஒரு லீடர்ஷிப் ரோலுக்கு போக முடியும். That is when you push yourself to greatness and lead a whole battalion. So அந்த பாயிண்ட்டுக்கு வர்றதுக்கு it takes time, and probably when you come up we will be having proper 100% of women leadership across different political scenarios can happen. However, I would also say that there are few examples even in the Indian country. We have had women leaders. We have had our first president Pratibha Patil. We have had one of our first female chief ministers, to name a few, Dr. late Jayalalitha, and the present chief minister of West Bengal, she is a woman. So when the United States claim that they have had the first women vice president to hold the office in 2021 or 20, we have had our first Indian female prime minister, Ms. Indira Gandhi. So activities are happening, but very less. Not every PM election or a CM election sees a women candidate, but we are on the way. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, we have a formal vote of thanks, ma'am.
Yes.
Now I call upon Dr. Malati ma'am to deliver the
Presenting the vote of thank our special speaker of the spiritual session, Gana Priya. Gana Priya Mohan for her motivational speech and also thank our Secretary Ma'am Jagannathan sir, Principal Ma'am Meera Muri, Mr. Shanmugam sir, and head of இதுல கேட்கவே என்னம்மா இவ்வளோ நேரம் நான் பேசும்போது கேட்கலப்பா
கேட்கல எனக்கு ஹலோ
Yes, you're audible.
hello ma'am hello am I
Yes.
audible ma'am
Yes, you are audible.
ma'am sorry ma'am. There's a small interruption oh ma'am sorry ma'am yes ma'am
I'm presenting the vote of thanks. I thank our special speaker of the spiritual session, Gana Priya Mohan Lokesh, for her provoking and motivational speech. And also thank our Secretary Ma'am, President Sir Dr. Jagannathan, Principal Ma'am Meera Murikesh, Vice Principal Ma'am Dr. Kanmani Subramanian, Mr. Shanmugam. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for inspirational speech. Once again, thank you to all.
Thank you everyone for the wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, actually, we should thank my on behalf of college. Thank you once again. Thank you, ma'am. So officially, I close the session, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.